It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
I've many times said that parenting is the ultimate self-development course. This is about us becoming better versions of ourselves.
And now here's the stars of our show, my mum and dad.
G'day, this is Dr. Justin Coulson, the author of 6 books about raising happy families. And I'm here with my wife, Kylie, co-host, podcast partner, and mum to our 6 daughters aged from 20-something. We're not allowed to say how old she is anymore. She's said, no, I'm an adult. You can't tell everybody. All the way down to the age of 6. Yeah. And as always, every Friday, we have this episode that we loosely call I'll Do Better Tomorrow. The idea is we want to understand what we've learned from parenting this week and how we can make it better next week. This is not a parenting thing, but I had a funny experience this week that I just have to share with you because I think this should be my I'll Do Better Tomorrow. I need to do better next week when it comes to putting the bins out.
Well, I did hear the bin truck drive past and all of a sudden
Saw my shadow.
You were dashing out the door.
So I forgot to put the 2 bins out and the trucks sort of come around the corner. I'm like, oh no. I grabbed the bins and we've got a long driveway. We live on a battle axe block, right? So what is it, like 200 metres to the end of the driveway or something ridiculous like that. And it's a steep hill and I've got these 2 bins that are sort of
propelling you down there.
Yeah, threatening to run me over. I get to the bottom and I realise that one bin has been done, but the other one hasn't. But they do our side of the street first and they do the other side next and they were doing the other side. And so I'm like, oh no. So I left the bin that I could leave behind and then I grabbed the other bin and I was like, he's gone. Like he was 300 metres down the road. And so I thought the only thing I can do is chase him. So I'm wearing no shoes. The ground is steaming hot because it's been another hot summer's day and I am just doing this sprint down the middle of the road. Fortunately, we live on a fairly quiet street. Sprint down the middle of the road with the bin dragging behind me, the recycling going boom, 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 boom in the bin. And what a great bin guy. He saw me in the mirror. I made sure I was in the middle of the road with this bin so that if he checked his mirrors, he'd see me. And he actually reversed halfway back, but I'm sprinting down the street. So that's my I'll do better next week by remembering. It's not even that I needed to remember because you asked me to do it and I said yes, but I got so caught up in things. Real life. This is the Happy Family's real life.
A snapshot of the day in the life of Dr. Justin Coulson.
Oh, I've got blisters on my feet. It was so uncomfortable. But at least we're going to be able to fill our bin for the next 2 weeks without it overflowing everywhere. Hey, so what's your I'll Do Better Tomorrow for this week? What parenting moment, parenting insight, failure, challenge, or otherwise learning moment have you had with our children, our munchkins this week?
Well, I have talked previously about a Brene Brown book that I have been reading for the last 2 and a bit years. I'm getting close. I'm down to the last chapter.
It's amazing.
But daring greatly, and it has been such an insightful read for me. But the other day I read something that just was actually a really huge aha moment for me. But what was most insightful about it was it actually highlighted how far I've come as a parent. And so the quote was this. She said, "Who we are and how we engage with the world are much stronger predictors of how our children will do than what we know about parenting. In terms of teaching our children to dare greatly in the never enough culture, the question isn't so much, are you parenting the right way, as it is, are you the adult that you want your child to grow up to be?"
I just love that. I mean, I've talked about that a lot of times. My perhaps not quite so eloquent.
She's very eloquent in her writing.
Version of that is parenting is not about the children, it's about the parents.
Yeah.
If it was about children, it would be called childrening. And I've many times said that parenting is the ultimate self-development course. This is about us becoming better versions of ourselves. But I love the way that you said that. I love the way that she said that. I love the way you read that.
Oh, thank you. But what I loved about it was as I read that, I was thinking about the times when I'm proudest of my children and, thinking about who I am and what they're doing that makes me just, have those moments where my heart's singing and I'm just elated to see them developing. And when I really was able to sit back and think about that, for me, it's the times where they actually do something the way I would have done it, when they actually see, that they've got the maturity enough to kind of see past, their 10-year-old self, and they actually see a way to move forward that would be very similar to what I would do. Or they actually do it better. And when I was thinking about that, it kind of occurred to me that I actually am really happy with who I am and how I do life. And there was a time where I could have pulled myself to pieces, and there are still so many areas in my life where I want to be a better person. But if my children turned out like me or you, I would be really okay with that. And that was really a really empowering moment for me.
Yeah, it's a really personal thing to share, and I'm grateful that you did. I'd be okay if our children turned out like you too. I think you're pretty ace. Me, not so much. I'm still a work in progress, but
I think we're all a work in progress, but that's the whole point of this. I think we can sit there and we can tear ourselves apart, or we can give ourselves a pat on the back and say, you know what, we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, well said.
And I think that, if we're looking at ourselves and we see something that we don't like, this is a wonderful opportunity for us to start working on it. We're the only ones who have control over that. And this is just this opportunity for us to see the world for how it is and go, you know what? I could actually be a bit more kinder.
Yeah, I'll do better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's find out what I can do better tomorrow right after this.
It's the Happy Families Podcast.
Are Screens Creating Tension at Home? Tweens, Teens and Screens is a webinar to guide families to healthy, safe super screen solutions. Buy today at happyfamilies.com.au/shop.
The kids are back at school, after school activities are starting, and we are once again organising how to get our kids to and from it all. So has the old should I or shouldn't I give them a mobile phone debate begun in your head?
Well, Space Talk offers the perfect solution with their newly released Adventurer, a 4G smartphone watch. Designed especially for 5 to 12-year-olds, the new Adventurer watch features phone calls, SMS messaging, and GPS location updates, giving parents and kids a safe, age-appropriate way to stay connected.
Our 10-year-old has one, and we love that she has it, and she loves having one.
You can check out spacetalkwatch.com to find out how you can give yourself and your child the peace of mind that you're never far away.
It's the Happy Families Podcast, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now. And today we are talking about the insights that we have as parents.
I had an insight that really made a big deal for me with our children. I've made no secret this week of the fact that it's not been the best week for me. I've had a couple of just lousy weeks, which is really unusual because normally I'm just bubbly and bouncy and beaming and on top of the world. But a few things have happened that have just been a little bit more challenging than normal. Thank you, by the way. We've had so many emails from people who heard what I said or jumped onto Facebook and sent really kind emails through to offer support. I'm not doing it for sympathy. I'm doing fine, but it's been so kind of people to reach out. Something that really struck me, though, was when I was having my particularly bad day, and I only had one of them, but it was really, really bad. Our children were so kind and gentle to me and to one another that particular day, with the exception of Emily, who, is a 6-year-old. She had her moments and she just did what she did. But our 10-year-old, our 13-year-old, our 17-year-old and our 18-year-old, the four of them who were all at home, they looked out for me. They came and gave me hugs. They said, we know you're not doing okay. Do you need anything? Can I get you a drink? I was like, I should be miserable more often. This is actually pretty good. And I just thought, isn't it great how children, all children, they've got this inbuilt sense that they really do care. They really do want to help. I know that it's not just our kids that would do that. I think most parents' kids, if they knew that their parents were having a genuinely bad time, and if those parents communicated it effectively and said, I'm really struggling to keep it together today, and I just need you to give me some space. I think that those kids would go away to their rooms or go away to the living room or the backyard, have a think about things, and then say, I need to help my dad or I need to help my mum.
I actually think that story has more to do about your parenting than it does about our children specifically. They have watched you do that very thing for them and for me for years.
Well, they're awesome kids. And my insight is just that our children generally have got tremendous capacity for kindness. The challenge becomes making sure that they retain that capacity and grow that capacity rather than frightening it out of them and being cranky at them and all that kind of thing. And that was a really big insight for me this week. So I was grateful for that. And that's my I'll do better tomorrow. It's probably less about me and more about just how good it is to have these these fantastic kids. We've had some really, really kind feedback come through to the podcast and a couple of 5-star reviews, Mrs. Happy Families. They're probably related more to you than me because everybody loves you, but would you like to share these real quick?
So Jamma Mama said, feels like having friends over to chat. What a blessing this podcast has been to me and my family.
Gave us a love heart and 5 stars, by the way, before Jamma Mama said 5 stars. What a blessing the podcast is.
I'm a better mother and a more sane person. Thank you, Dr. Justin Coulson and Kylie.
Awesome stuff.
And an anonymous listener has said, great space, 5 stars. I love this podcast. Simple, easy to follow direction in parenting.
Well, we love those 5-star reviews. Please keep them coming. They help other people to find the podcast and find joy in family life. Really appreciate Jamma Mama and our anonymous reviewer giving us those 2 5-star reviews. If you would like to do the same thing, it's so easy. You literally open up the podcast app on your phone, click on our podcast, and then where it says reviews, you just click on see all reviews and then click on the bit that says write a review. You click the 5 stars, you say what you love about the podcast, and Apple pushes us up in the algorithm so that we can help more people to be happier. Thank you so much for doing that. We also appreciate you listening to the podcast. We hope that it's making a difference in your family. Grateful to Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. He is the one who makes us sound the way we do. And we're also grateful for the sounding board that we have in our executive producer, Craig Bruce. What a guy. If you'd like more information about how to make your family happier, please jump onto happyfamilies.com.au. Check out the memberships, monthly support, access to webinars, access to all sorts of info to guide your family to happier places. It's all at happyfamilies.com.au.